So hello everybody and welcome back to my paranormal experiences. I appreciate all of you for watching my videos. I appreciate everybody for, the comments that they have made. This will probably be my last video I make of my paranormal experiences to date, because in the last 12, 13 years, I haven't had as many experiences as I did in my younger years. And, after I make the videos of my experiences, I'm just going to answer a lot of things that I know about the paranormal and I've learned about the paranormal by my own experiences and by videos and things I've watched and different paranormal investigators I've, listened to, and there's different things I've learned over the years. So, but don't be discouraged. Don't be like, oh, this is the last video. Because even though this may be the last video of my personal experiences, it's not going to be the last of my paranormal videos. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start off with when me and my husband and our 3 kids moved out of the apartment complex. We moved into our first house that wasn't an apartment. Even though it was a duplex, it wasn't an apartment. So it was exciting because it was the first time that we could mow the yard and have a dog and, just be that family that everybody wants to be. So in this house, there was little things we started noticing at first. Things would go missing or be placed in odd areas. And we'd come home and I would always find a candle holder of mine that would be laying in the middle of the hallway that I had in my shadow box. And it was never broke. It was never, harmed. It was just pretty much laying always in the middle of the hallway. And it's just like, well, how did that fall without breaking, first of all, because it was a hardwood floor? And not only that, what made it fall? So we just always notice, little odd things like that around the house. And then one day, we found out how the candle holder fell. My husband was at work, and just me and the kids were home. My one daughter was down the hallway. And how our house was set up, the kitchen, dining room, and living room were all kind of connected in a way. Because, the fridge and the stove were set up in the kitchen to where it made like a donut in that area, and then off from the kitchen there was the hallway, and from the living room you could see part way down the hallway, and I could see my shadow box, and I could see that whole area from where I was sitting. Well, my daughter yells for me, "Hey, Mom!" And I'm like, "What? Come here, I'm not getting up right now. Come here." So, as she starts coming out the hallway, I'm looking at the doorway, waiting for her to come to the hallway, to speak to me. And me and her both see the same exact thing. We see an arm and about a shoulder, Didn't see a head, you just seen the shoulder. There was a coat closet that was across the way from my shadow box. And we seen an arm reach out and knock that candle holder out of the shadow box. And it broke. The first time, after, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 times I found it in the middle of the floor, it broke. My daughter's like, Mom, did you just see that? I said, what did you just see? I said, I know what I just seen. What did you just see? She's like, Mom, there was a shadow that pulled that candle holder out of there. Mom, I said, I seen what you seen, baby. I seen it. So, that's whenever we really started, paying attention to what was going on around the house. My husband one time came out of we had 2 bathrooms. They were back to back to each other. And my husband came out of the one bathroom, came in the living room, and he's like, where's the dogs? And I said, they're outside. He's like, we're moving. I said, what? What are you talking about? He's like, I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom, and I felt a dog's cold nose on the back of my leg. He's like, we're moving. And we just got, we kind of laughed it off, just kind of shook it off and went about the rest of our day. Then there was this night. Now, my husband says, oh, I've seen this in the country 100 times. I've seen it 100 times. It's normal. It happens. Well, we kind of live in like a suburban area where it's not quite country. Well, it's not country at all, but it's not quite city. It's a township. And I'm looking out our back window, and our back window is attached to a couple other backyards, and there's a field, and then there's an old school that no longer is in use, but since then they have tore it down, but it was no longer in use at the time, but it was still standing at that time, and you could kind of see, just the backyards and a little wood area, and you could sort of see the school through the trees, but you really couldn't unless it was fall time. Well, I'm looking out the back window, and I'm looking, and there's just thousands of lightning bugs. I mean, thousands of them. And they're all in the trees, and they're just flashing so fast, and so rapidly. And I'm just sitting there going, what is this? I mean, it may look like the night was sparkling. It may look like the outside was just sparkling. Me and the kids went outside, and I tried to film it, but you couldn't really see it on camera phones. You really couldn't see it. Me and the kids were just looking around, and it was like a Christmas show outside. It was so splendid. And my husband was like, oh, it happens all the time, in this country. And I'm like, babe, I've lived in the country. I've lived in an old farmhouse. I never seen anything like this. And he's like, oh, I've seen it. But it was just so odd. So me and the kids, we come back inside, and we're just all looking out the back window. Because out the front window, they really weren't going that crazy. It was just like out the back window. And we're like all looking and looking. Me and my one daughter kind of stop and look. Our neighbor's backyard. We start looking at the shed. Well, I look at her, she looks at me, we kind of look back at the shed. Well, what I'm seeing is a white mist that's pretty much full formed and human shaped. You really couldn't make out like the face or the body or what they were wearing. It was just a white mist in the shape of a human body. And it was coming out from the front of the shed, kind of like walking, or like 2 steps in front of the shed, kind of like walking around, then walk back to where it was behind the shed and we couldn't see it, and then walk to the back of the shed, come out, walk around a few steps, and walk back to the other, walk back behind the shed to where we couldn't see it again. And I'm sitting there going, watching this, white mist go from the front of the shed to the back of the shed, and then it goes to the tree in our yard. And I'm sitting there going, "Are you seeing this?" And my daughter's like, "Yeah, I'm seeing this white mist, and it's getting closer to our house." I said, "Is it behind the tree right now?" And it was behind the neighbor's shed. She's like, "Yeah." My other daughter comes out from the bathroom area, and she's like, Mom, there's something behind that tree." I said, "I know, we're watching it. It was behind the shed." And we're sitting there watching this, this mist just come out from behind the tree and then go back behind it. And then eventually it just stopped. And we just all kind of looked at each other, because pretty much the same time that stopped, so did the lightning bugs. But we're just looking at it around, and it's like, it's really odd. And then our kitchen and dining room had a doorway that was to our garage. And from time to time, the window on that door was just a little rectangle, window. It really wasn't very big, but you could still, see in and out of the garage. You could still see, into the garage from the main of the house. So every now and again, you'd be in the kitchen doing something, and you'd start walking towards the dining room area, and you'd see something flash by that window, and you're just like looking in the backyard, looking, in the garage, and nothing was ever there, but you always just seen something flash by that window real quick. But we didn't live there for very long before our family had a tragedy, and we had to move from there into a cheaper housing. This house was built back in the 40s, and it was a pretty old house. I mean, it was falling apart. It kind of seemed like the ceiling was gonna be falling in the living room. I mean, it was a pretty old house, so we only stayed there for a few months, because it was just, not only did it have that weird feeling, it seemed like it was falling apart. So we, moved from there. But this big old house, I never really had any experiences in it, but my kids did not like the basement. They said there was something creepy down there. They felt like there was an old man down there. That's what my daughters always said. They felt like there was an old man down there. Well, my husband, where our bedroom was in the upstairs, was at the very top of the stairs, where our door for our bedroom was pretty much aligned directly with the stairwell. So my husband could lay in bed and watch the stairs. He said there would be several nights that he couldn't go to sleep because something was on those stairs watching him. And he never told me what it would look like, or, what the type of feeling that he would get from it. He said that there would be times that it would be standing at the bottom of the landing before they went to the second, because our stairway kind of did like an angle type thing where it was two parts. So there was a landing in the middle with a window, and it would stand there at that landing looking up at our bedroom. He said, and then there would be times where it'd be like halfway crawling up the stairs looking at him. So that's the only thing that really happened in that house. Now, the house we moved to from there, it was another duplex. And this duplex happened to be pretty much right underneath power lines. Now, if anyone is familiar with the supernatural and power lines, they know that there's power lines are pretty much a supernatural highway. It's energy, it's a way to flow easily from one way to another. And that might account for all the weird and odd things that we've seen at this duplex. Um, to start off with, that's whenever I started doing my first YouTube channel that I had a lot of karaoke videos, my original paranormal experience videos. I had my denture adventure because I do have dentures, but beyond that, I used to make a lot of karaoke videos, and I caught evidence in about 3 different videos that I made. Um, just doing random videos at times, and there'd be noises in the background. There was one time I was singing, and something knocked on a wooden door behind me that the dogs even reacted to. And you could see it kind of like a shadow come up and kind of like hit at the same time. It was really weird. And then there was another video where I'm singing, and right beside me, I mean, from right beside me, you can't hear it in the video, and I'm so upset that you couldn't hear it in the video. But right beside me, there was a growl. I mean, just a guttural, kind of like a dog would do, but it was just deeper than a dog. And all my dogs were in opposite rooms. They weren't even in the room that I was in. So it was like really weird to hear that growl come from right beside me as I'm singing. And I still wish that I had better audio equipment that could have caught that growl. But some of the odder things. Me and my husband were out one night. My kids call us panicked. Mom, 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 something's trying to get in the house. Oh my God, call the police. No, Mom, you don't understand. Something is trying to get into the house. And I'm like, okay, what are you guys talking about? They are locked. They have locked themselves in the bathroom. And they swear something is knocking on the door of the bathroom that came in from the outside. The story begins like this. Me and my husband obviously are out. Our kids are in the one room that has the back patio door, which happens to be our bedroom, but our kids used to go in there and watch TV because we only had 2 TVs, and if they didn't like what was playing in the living room, they'd come into our room and watch TV. Well, our son was in our bedroom, and on our patio, he knows there was this figure. He says it was a man. He calls it the boogeyman. He said that it was all black, and it had a really long coat on it. And out of his sleeves came bugs that he released into the house. So he ran and told his sisters. His sisters, in turn, kind of looked down weird, came into the back room, and this figure, this black figure, cloaked figure, was coming into the house without opening the door, releasing all these insects as he was walking along. And it had chased them into the bathroom where they locked themselves, and it was knocking on the door. We could actually hear the knocking on the door on the phone. So I'm staying on the phone the whole time. We're racing home. We get home. Our kids are in tears. They finally came out of the bathroom because the noises stopped. They finally were brave enough to come out and find out that there was nothing there. Whatever they had seen was gone. So, we sat down, we talked to them, we tried to get the story out of them, and it was just crazy to hear about this cloaked figure that released bugs throughout the house. It was just weird. But at that time was whenever I really started getting into my spiritual side, and I started learning how to protect me and my kids from the eviler, more nasty things that are out there that I don't want ever to mess with my family again. So, yeah, and we stayed there not for too long. We got out of there, and moved into the house that we lived in for a few years. That the only thing that happened there was a lot of shadows in the basement. A lot of shadows in the basement. I never really seen a lot of shadows throughout the main of the house, but there was a lot of shadows in the basement. My husband had night terrors in the basement. The very first week we moved in there, my one daughter was rearranging her room to how she wanted it, and a drawer literally flew out of her one little storage unit area and landed on the floor. I mean, it literally just flew out. I was sitting in the bathroom the one day, and I looked into my daughter's room, and at that time I was cleaning, so I had an ashtray sitting on her dresser, and I actually watched this ashtray flip off her dresser. I mean, so those are, things that I seen, like poltergeist activity type deal on the main of the floor. But the shadows, we never seen them up there. I only seen them down in the basement. And then where we moved into now, me and my son and my one daughter are here. And the very first week me and my son moved in, we came home. Now we have one of those vanities in our mirror, in our bathrooms, that have the 3 mirrors that kind of, they all kind of swivel different ways. I mean, there's just 3 mirrors where you can have one flat and have the other 2 kind of arched, so you can see 3 yourself, and it's just that type of setup. We came home and I found all of those mirrors facing each other in a triangle, which was really, really weird, because if anybody knows about supernatural stuff and mirrors, they know that there was pretty much a portal created in that triangle of mirrors. So that was the first time I actually went around the house and put protection different places, to where if that did open anything up, it closed it. But my son has noticed shadows. He says that he feels people watch him as he sleeps. There was one time I actually seen a shadow. It just went on the bottom of the one door real fast. So it's still yet to come here. I've only lived in this apartment complex for about, let me see, for about 8 months I've lived here. So I haven't had too many things go on here, but if anything arises, you guys will be the first to know. You guys will be the first to hear about it. And if there's one ghost that I definitely want to hear from, most of my subscribers know who that would be. But I hope you guys enjoyed my experiences videos, because let me tell you, my kids really enjoy listening to me talk about my experiences and my knowledge of the paranormal through everything that I've seen, everything I've witnessed, everything that I've dreamt of. You know, I've had several dreams that I've had through my years that end up coming true in my later on life. You know, I've had dreams that my friends were in situations where they ended up actually being in situations, and we hadn't talked for years upon years, and here that situation actually did happen. I mean, some people are just more in tune with the whole paranormal, the whole energies, and I may be one of those people. Now, it's just hard to say what really attracts the paranormal to some people, or why some people can see them, or why some people can't. I'll make a video about that later on, but for now, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, and I'm gonna let you guys know this. There will be more to come. But if you enjoyed this and you missed out on my previous videos, go back, watch them. If you want to watch my previous videos again, go back and watch them if you've already watched them. But no matter what, subscribe, share, like, comment. You know, don't just watch my video. Do something with it. Like it, share it, comment, something. And always watch out for my new videos. And as always, peace, love, and happiness. And I'll see you guys later.